Hey guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project365, episode 319. Got out here doing some yoke carries today. Wanted to talk about some techniques, some things that we see that are common faults when we start doing carries, especially when they're longer in distance. I did a 60-minute ANREP doing that today, encompassing those. And the thing is what yoke carries generally do, especially over time, is bring out your already acquired postural faults. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about regaining our posture and how we want to go about tackling the concept of doing yokes or yoke carries. Okay, so the first things first. Just like everything else, when we squat and when we do anytime that we're loading a weight onto our spine, we want to make sure that we kind of eliminate this, right? This like forward posture of where our chest caves forward and our shoulders round out over top of our support, which is our spine, right? So we want to make sure that we bring our spine or our shoulders back and down so everything's kind of loaded up, and our ears come over top of our shoulders and over top of our hips. Same thing happens when we go ahead and we start carrying a yoke. And so when we set up, instead of setting up and kind of stepping into it like this, now my shoulders over top, like in front of my knee, I want to make sure that I get all the way underneath it and stand completely up like that. The other thing I want to make sure that I do is if you come from a profile area right here, I want to make sure that once I've loaded my spine, that I make sure that the bar is centered up over top of the midline of my body rather than allowing it to allow my body to cave forward, okay? So I get here like this, and I make sure that my shoulders are back and down, and that is where the weight is going to set rather than kind of humping like this. And that's where I tend to see people get. You see this all the time. You see them like this, right? Head down, shoulders forward. And what we want to be able to see is we want to be able to pick a spot on our horizon, shoulders back and down, looking forward. If our head stays up, our shoulders will stay back. And we're actively pressing into, and our elbows are actively pressing down. So I'm actively pressing into the yoke here. Elbows are actively pressing down. So that way, everything's stacked on top of each other and I can walk, okay? Now the last thing that I want to be able to talk about is just how far we walk and keeping our stance within a smaller base, right? So normally I might walk with a base like such. When we do this and we're using yoke carries, we don't want the weight to move around a lot. So if I start or stop too quickly, the weight will start moving all around and I have to use accessory tissue to stabilize that. So what I want to do is I want to start out slowly and I want to stop slowly, okay? So when I do that, that means that I start with shorter steps until I get to my normal length, okay? So if I get to here, instead of going like that and banging everything all over the place, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 3 or 4 shorter steps, okay? Where I'm just 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I get the momentum moving and I can go ahead and I can get into my full length, okay? So the take-home points are this. Make sure that we don't allow the yoke to exacerbate our already horrible posture that we probably have, right? That's okay. Bring our shoulders back and down. Keep our eyes on the horizon, okay? Keep that weight back on our shoulders. Allow that weight to stack on top of our shoulder, hip, and then the bottom of our leg, okay? And then the last thing is although we keep our eyes forward, start and stop slowly. So take a couple steps and work our way into our pace, and then take a couple steps to slow down. If not, the weight starts to move all over the place. We have a lot harder time moving around that yoke. Guys, I hope that helps you out. Until tomorrow, we are optimizing function to optimize performance.